or is to be able to explore your dreams and have really unique experiences. So that's what pushes me to save and invest as much as possible. I moved to New York City in July of 2022. My apartment is worth $4,500 a month, and I live with 2 other roommates, and my share of the rent is $1,245. Majority of that food is eating out, but I definitely do cook sometimes. Some of those meals are business dinners, and others are for more social activities where I'm going out to eat with friends. I definitely do try to take the train when I can, but a significant portion of that budget comes from taking Ubers and Lyfts around the city. Each month, I allocate around $5,000 to $10,000 towards saving and investing. I save majority of my money in a high-yield savings account, whereas another portion of that money goes towards my brokerage account. I definitely do plan to retire early. And when I say that I want to retire early, that doesn't mean that I don't plan to do work. I just don't want to have to be working to make a living. And I want my work to be more related to my passions. My first job out of college was working as a global marketing analyst. I felt comfortable enough to quit my 9-to-5 job once I was on a trajectory to earn more money than I had the previous year. When I was at my corporate job, I was making $90,000 a year and working 50 hours a week. But now through my business, I'm on track to make $200K this year, and I typically work between 30 to 40 hours a week.
If you need help with your scholarship essays, keep watching this video because I'm about to show you how you can see actual essays that won thousands of dollars.
Quitting my job was liberating, but very scary as well, especially since I'm pretty young.
So hey, Black women, I wanted to bring this to your attention, right? I was watching this video because I saw it come up on my recommendation feed. Now it's about this young lady who asthma still acting up. Today pollen count is crazy high. Anyway, she graduated from Princeton. She says she's an entrepreneur. The main thing about this story I want you to take away is the fact that she went to college on like almost not went to college on. She went to college because you applied to college, period. See, when people tell these stories, they never tell like the whole background. They only give you like the fancy parts to make you think that all the other work that needs to be done is not done. So when she's saying she got all of these scholarships and etc., like up to $1 million or more, whatever the amount was, I don't remember. It goes like this. You have to apply to the school. So she applied for Princeton. She got in, right? Princeton and every other like so-called Ivy League school like that, they have their own individual scholarships for, how do they phrase it? Underrepresented populations, or go on the websites to the colleges, you're going to see, right? In addition to that, when you're filling out your college application through FAFSA, FAFSA actually has on its website additional grants and scholarships you can apply for straight through the government to go to those type of schools, because they need to recruit underrepresented populations like other people of color. So they have all these programs. Like in particular, if you were ever interested in Harvard, my son attended a summer program, even though he chose not to go, was called, what is it called? Crimson Camp or something like that. Go on Harvard's website. You'll see that they have a summer program for people in high school or who graduated that are considering going to the college. That like summertime program teaches you all of the things you need to do before you get into the school, while you're still in either high school or you just graduated, because you know you don't have to go right after you graduate high school. You can wait. So it's like a precursor to get accepted to the college. And I forget, I think it's called Crimson Program. Just go on there. You'll see it on Harvard, because the same attorney that won the Brown versus Board of Ed, that black man, he literally works at Harvard, and he's the one that initiated that program. And to my knowledge, it's still there to this day, even though my son is way grown by now when he took advantage of that program. But I know it's still there because it's part of the legacy. So anyway, you go on those websites, you go on FAFSA, you go to the specific school you want to go to. They also have grants and scholarships. And then remember I told you guys about collegeboard.org, or is it collegeboard.com? Pick it. Whichever one comes up, the right one, you'll see it'll have a big, I think it's collegeboard.org. College Board. Try both of the domains and you're going to get it. But anyway, you go on there, and when you get to College Board gives you everything the entire country has to offer. So for every particular school, college, university, community college, whatever, private colleges, community, all those things are on there. Every single school is listed on there. Within that, they have their grants portion, and they have their scholarship portion on the website. So a lot of the stuff that this lady is talking about, you don't have to work that hard, because there are literally places you can go to where all the information is already there. And then you also have like the New York City Urban League. They and other organizations like that within New York City, that it's their job to specifically help black students find scholarships and grants that will pretty much help them pay their way through college. Because mind you, when you get approved for these things, like I said, the backstory that these people never really tell, right, is the fact that you don't get this money right away, right? It comes eventually. So 9 out of 10 times, you have to go to school by the financial aid package you get, which includes the portion the government is going to help you pay to go to school, whatever loan you have to take out, if you have to take it out. Some people don't. Your financial contribution, because every household has to give a certain amount of financial contribution. Unless you're in New York City and you are below the poverty line, so to speak, here, or you qualify for TAP and Pell, you go to school for absolutely free. And the same way she talked about the checks that she was receiving from those scholarships, called the disbursement checks, that's the same thing you get here in New York City, except for it's not from the scholarship, it's directly from the government. But we had a Senator Pell, long years ago, and who felt like the poor people of New York did not get enough. And so he went out of his way to create funding for us to go to school. He also is responsible for the projects in New York City. So anyway, that's another, he's probably responsible for projects all over America, but he started here in New York City. So that's the Pell Grant, right? And then TAP is the tuition from the government for the state of New York. So all these things play into how people get money for college. So it is good, like she said, to always apply for every scholarship, every grant you can find. I don't care if it's like $2,000, because that's the other thing they never tell you the truth about when they do all of these exposés on people. The majority of the scholarships are going to be less than $10,000, the majority of them. But like she said, which is true, as you keep going and you start honing your craft to write those essays really quick on those applications for scholarships or grants, you're going to notice that you will be able to write them quicker, better, and apply for the scholarships and grants that are like $10,000 and more, one shot. And that's the honesty of it. And the majority of the time when you're looking for grants and scholarships that's going to give you like $20,000, $30,000, they even have some for $50,000, right? You have to go to big corporations, right? Like I want you to go watch that entire video on this young lady, because she spoke about Coca-Cola. Very true. Coca-Cola owns all them, like Pepsi or Sprite, they own all that. So they have the money to give it out. Now, what you need to do is not only go to the big corporations that you know will give it, because they have the scholarships publicly advertised. Go to the ones that you don't know about. You see how we watch McDonald's commercials and they make tons of money off of black people? Hit up McDonald's for scholarships and grants, because they have them. And if they don't, then you write directly to the headquarters to ask them, why don't you have this scholarship, da 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 da. Suggest to them what you would like to see a scholarship for African American students, and believe me, they will create it, because they get a lot of their money from the black community, right? All right. In addition to that, you have things like the Chamber of Commerce. Should be everywhere you live, right? They also have scholarships. The other place to look for scholarships, I know I did all of this when my kids were going to college, because I didn't know about this stuff when I went to college. I just went the regular way, applying for FAFSA, took out the loans, paid my portion, that was it. I never even applied for one grant or one scholarship. I paid out of pocket, and whatever the government said, okay, Steph, this is what you get. So with my children, I did things a whole lot differently because I knew a lot more. So here in New York City, and this is really important for those of you that might want to come to school here, we have libraries here that are historically black libraries. Like we have, what's the name of that damn library in Astoria? And that's disgusting that I don't remember the name of this library, because the director there was one of my former professors in York College. Oh my Lord, what is the name? Tamar, what's the name of that library, that black library in Astoria? Do you remember? Oh, Langston Hughes. Langston Hughes Library, right? So, Langston Hughes Library, you could look for, like, in New York City, that's another thing. We have public libraries and we have private libraries, right? Even in the private libraries here, one is named after my daughter. We have the Epiphany Library in Manhattan. It's a Catholic library. They also have scholarships and grants. So everything you could think of in New York City, like even the museums, like the black museums, like the Studio Museum in Harlem and etc., and even national libraries for black people, go on their websites. They should have a grant or scholarship. If they don't, call them up and find out, because sometimes it's not always posted. Sometimes you have to be an alumni or somehow related to the organization to get this information. So you call and find out, right? All right, what else is there? Trying to think of ways to do this as well. Oh, and then they literally have governmental grant loan websites. Like I saw several black women on YouTube themselves always talking about how black women could get grants, because they have minority grants and then they have minority women grants. So they have different types of grants, and they actually have literally grants that are specific for particular groups. You know, back in the days, there was this guy, Ned, the science guy. I forget his name, but if you look him up, he used to wear a two-piece suit, a black background suit with every color question marks on his suit. And he wrote an entire book about scholarships and grants that the government provided in every academia, every field for people of color and just black people to go to school, to go to college. I used to literally own that damn book, and then somehow or another it got water damaged and I threw it out. But I really got to try to hunt and find that book, because years ago he had an advertisement. He had a commercial where he would come on and go, "Did you ever know about how many grants and scholarships the government owns and gives out every day? Thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars," right? And he would go through this spiel, run his little 3-minute pitch, and he was not lying. When I bought that book, the reason when I was in college that I was able to do work study at my college and actually work as a full-time library, my mind is gone, laboratory assistant in chemistry, was because of that book. Like, I had no idea that if you were in college and your college offered, which most of them do, a work study program, if you picked a course in whatever it is, like I had one major in science, right? So I liked chemistry a lot. So I worked as a lab assistant for chemistry. My professor signed off on it, and etc. So I was doing just a regular freaking work study, like, all right, I work in the lab, you know, But when I was doing that, I never knew that I can extend from that to a full-time, really getting paid what a laboratory assistant was getting paid while in college. So as I read that book, I found one of those grants, sure enough, and it was crazy because the work study coordinator didn't even mention this to me. So, but anyway, I found this grant in that book, and it was for laboratory assistants, and it didn't have any specific. It could be any type of laboratory assistant, right? But my field was chemistry. So I applied to it. I literally got it, and it took like 90 days to get the okay after being accepted. And when I say the okay, they initially sent me like $5,000, right, to start the program, because it's an award, so they have to give you some money. So initially, after the $5,000, 2 weeks later, I'm working in school regularly. They sent me to another college to work at. Now, while I'm there, because this is work study, I'm still getting credit for my degree, towards my degree at my school, but I'm actually learning in the real field. So that is also something you could look into as well. But again, like I said, you gotta like look for these companies and then go on their website, because they're not gonna come and make commercials like that one guy did. He was making the commercials because he was trying to sell his book, and he did well. But there are a lot of places out here that are offering scholarships, and don't forget to look at associations, because remember, when I started out, and I should have finished it, the Black Women's Association of Engineering, they also have scholarships. The Black Women's Association of Psychology, Black Women's Associations of Chemistry, all these type of things, they have scholarships. I don't know about grants, but I damn sure know they have scholarships, right? So whatever you're interested in, go to those particular fields, search different companies, go on different websites, and there are tons of extra grants and scholarships you can apply for outside of the ones that's already known. And did you know that there are actual people that you can hire on the website, hire from different websites to actually, that is their job, to find nothing but scholarships and grants for you? They have those people. So you could Google that and find somebody, do a good background search on them, make sure that if they have to be licensed by the state, they are. Even if you have to check to find out if this person is reputable or not, you find that out before you pay them and before you take their services, because you know it's a lot of charlatans out here. So that's a lot to go with, you know, in reference to extending from her video. But I also wanted to point out that look in the library, because there are books like, I know when I had to do an internship for my psych, they told me about this book called The Internship Bible, and I just went to the library and got that, and it had like every single, in New York City, it had every single listed internship program, so I could do the hours that I needed for my degree. It was good. So you have the Internship Bible. I'm quite sure there are other like externship books and etc., grant books, scholarship books. Just keep looking, keep asking questions, reaching out to entities that you would never even think of that would offer money or give money, because they do, right? That's all I got to say about the grants and the scholarships. And make sure you scour that College Board website, because it has tons of information on there that are very, very helpful when it comes to finding money to go to school and the right school to go to. Because remember I told you, with College Board, my kids went to a private Catholic college or university. They went to Barry University in Miami, right? So on College Board, we found Barry University. I also was able to take advantage of tuition discount because I had more than one child going to the same university. Because we was coming from out of state, we was also given like a grant coming from another state. We were given a certain scholarship and grant towards room and board. There was another grant for food. It was a lot of stuff. And all that stuff I found on College Board. All right, so make sure you're going College Board. And then the only other thing is, I want to tell to all you people that come to New York City looking for work, transitioning to a new life, whatever, stop following the white people. That's going to be your downfall, okay? See, now when you go back and watch this young lady's video, she's talking about how much money she made how much money she saved, how much money she had in a bank account, what she does with her investments. But she did the dumbest thing she could do, which is when you come here, you will lose a lot of your fucking money real quick by doing that roommate dumb shit. Now, you can feel how you want to feel about it, but I'm telling you, as a native New Yorker, do not do that shit. Number one, it's very difficult to be living with white folks because they really have an innate hatred towards black people. You'll fuck around and find out. You can end up in a lot of legal issues where they're trying to get you locked up or even evicted when you least expect it, because here in New York City, there are all types of issues legally you could fall into traps with you know, what is that shit called when they have people renting the primary tenant's apartment? Oh my God, it escapes my mind right now. But we have laws on that. Like, so I could, like, in my apartment, if I wanted to rent my apartment out, all I got to do is let my board and shit know, and the people who literally own this place, listen, I have another property somewhere else. I'm going to be living there for 6 months. So I'm going to be allowing this particular person to either, you're going to lie. You're going to be like, they're going to house sit for me when they're actually renting your apartment, right? You could get away with it like that. But other people that know loopholes to the law here will actually call it out for what it is. They'll tell on you. They're like, listen, I'm not house renting. I'm actually renting this apartment from this person, which is illegal here. And that is how your ass gets kicked out. That is how you get all types of issues with the law that will sometimes cause you to have many problems with school. So don't do that shit. You don't, when you come here, she was talking about she paid like, I think it was like $1,500 a month or whatever she said. Go back to the original video. That's more than enough to get your own goddamn apartment where you don't have to worry about no bullshit with other people living with you. Issues that can be created because a lot of those people drink, get stupid, and have all types of police interference. I've seen it. I dealt with it with my job. Don't fuck with it. I'm telling you firsthand. It is too easy to go on to several different New York City websites to look for housing. It is too easy to go on a realtor's website and look for housing. Too easy to look for, what are these search engines they have for apartments? You can get apartments. Like, what is the main one people use here? Rent.com. There's so many. And even shit like Trulia and the other one, I forget right now. They really work here. Like, I have a goddamn alert for Trulia on my damn phone so that if I see something really nice or whatever and I want to live there or whatever, I go do it. But the thing is, that's the only thing she said in that entire, well, I guess, expose they did on her that did not make sense. Because when you have to split rent with somebody, right away that means that the rent is astronomical for no reason. And believe me, she following white people, like I told you, that whole Manhattan manipulation and I don't know why they hypnotized by, and Manhattan is whack. When I tell you whack, it is full of bullshit. You really don't want to live in no place like that. It has problems, both lower Manhattan and upper Manhattan. You live down Manhattan, where all the whites are, you're going to be dealing with racial discrimination, bigotry, and all that type of in-your-face, you might have to beat somebody's ass on the street type stuff every day, all the time. If you want to expose yourself to that shit, go right ahead. If you go upper Manhattan, now you got to deal with the ignorant blacks, the ignorant Hispanics, and everybody else. If you want to deal with that shit, plus the drug addicts, go right ahead. Oh, I forgot. The drug addicts live down with the white people too. And then don't forget, you got all them lunatics from the garment district. So if you want to fuck with that, put your shield on, get your gat, and go for it. Go for it, all right? Because unless you're going to be paying like $5,000 to $10,000 a month for an apartment, that's the only time you're going to find peace in Manhattan. Because then you're going to be living in those buildings that are like I had told you before. They come with the doorman. They come with security. You have your private apartment. Sometimes they have private entrances with the elevator straight from the street to your apartment, etc. It's really nice, but it's really, really expensive. So me, in my opinion, and this is just me, if this young lady's balling like she says she's balling, that's where I would be living, okay? Because with those type of apartments comes the people that work the building, the brokers, the realtors, etc. So if she needed to find an actual brick and mortar, or she needed whatever she needed from them people to help her with whatever business she has, what better place to live than somewhere where all those people come attached to where you live? Believe me, they have property management people that are there because they have storefronts adjacent to those buildings, underneath and above those buildings, because it's Manhattan. So a lot of people down there like the sky, what is it? What do they call it? The skyline life, the rooftop life. They have a lot of stuff like that there. So that's the only thing I could say was the unrealistic part about what she was saying. Living here, like, and I noticed like a lot of people do that silly shit because they watch videos by these people on YouTube, and believe me, they're never telling y'all the truth. They're only giving you the hype because they want the views and the money. But it's nothing to play with down there. You're talking about a group of people who are overly entitled and who love to go out of their way to start problems for black people. So if you want to live with that type of stuff, you better than me, because I would never do it. Especially not in no goddamn roommate situation. I would literally have my own apartment and live around them, but by my fucking self. I would never be in a situation like her, because it's stupid. And you know what else is crazy? Here's another thing about New York City they don't tell y'all. Seeing that situation that she's in with the roommates living in some, and there's tons of stuff like that online they will try to pull you into. That rent, if each one of them is paying like almost $2,000, that rent that she's paying is probably like $7,000 to $8,000 for a bullshit apartment. When I tell you a bullshit apartment, you could get the same space and all that somewhere else. Because Manhattan, because white people try to make it like it's the greatest when it's not. It's the most deplorable and the dirtiest. Like, renters should charge the city for having to deal with rats there. Because the rats in that city, that borough is out of fucking control more than any other borough. So, but anyway, the money that she's paying and the amount of people that are in that apartment here in New York City, if any of them are not able to make their rent, and let's say for whatever reason, the landlord petitions for eviction, you all got to get the fuck out. And you all will get that hit on your credit and everything else. So don't do what she did. Now, I know she probably didn't have nobody to really tell her what I'm telling you, but I'm telling you, do not room with anybody here. Don't do that. Roommates is not. You could do that shit in Seattle. Don't do that in New York City, because it's not going to work out well for you. It's not going to work out well for you legally. Fuck the socialization and the personal thing. Legally, it's not going to work out well for you. Don't do that shit. It would be crazy, right? And it happens a lot of times with them, because the other thing people don't like to tell the truth about when you room with them, they like to try to push bills on people and then break out. And nobody ever talks about that, but that is a reality. That has happened to people I know. So, anyway, keep all that stuff I told you in mind. And let me just cover one more thing. When she talked about the scholarship disbursement, the checks that go directly into your account, they all do. Like, when you look for grants and scholarships, you want to look for the wording to be something like payable to or distributed to. As long as it has some word that tells you that the verb is a payment and it's going to, you're good. If ever it says something like, how do they say it where it goes directly to the university? Withheld. They use the word withheld a lot. And what's the other one? Holding. So if you see a lot of that type of wording and be clear reading that stuff. If you don't understand it, a lot of times those grants and scholarships come with a contact information. Call them and find out, is this money paid to me, or is it paid directly to the school or the university, college, whatever? Because that's the other thing she didn't talk about, and that's the reality, right? Because it makes a difference if all of your money is coming to you or part of your money is going to you and then to the college, because a lot of these people, a lot of these scholarships and grants, they partner with certain particular locations that they want to give the grant or scholarship to. So just keep all that in mind, and basically you got to know everything about that. And you also got to know also the tax aspect of it as well. Scholarships can be taxed, grants cannot. So you got to look into all of that. And I'm only going by my state, so I can't talk freely for every other state, because I might be telling you a bold-faced lie right now, because I only can speak for this state that I live in, because I know the rules. But a lot of that money is taxable, so you have to find out which ones are and which ones aren't. And then, of course, common sense would dictate you go for the ones that aren't, right? But whenever you see these stories about people, you just have to, like, take it on face value. Oh, that's really nice. All right, I'm going to take some pointers, and I'm going to do that as well. However, there's always a backstory that people don't tell. I don't know why that's so much a part of our culture. That's really fucked up, because if you're going to give people information, give them the whole fucking story. Give them the pros and the cons so they know exactly what they're dealing with. And that when the bad shit happens, because it's part of the process, it doesn't throw them off guard and leave them, you know, at a standstill or totally screw them up so that they're all messed up and got to do something else. The transparency in information really drives me fucking crazy, because it's like people will tell you the beginning and the end and leave all the middle shit out. And it's like, what about all this right here? You gonna cover this? So a lot of the stuff she was saying is absolutely the case, but there's more to the background. I helped you out as much as I can. The rest of the stuff you're going to have to learn by literally contacting the entity for whatever it is you're reaching out to them for. And you want to get as much clarity as possible. You want to know everything, especially, like I said, like, is this money tax-free? You really want to know that. And in some cases, you want to also ask them, can I also claim this as a credit on my taxes or whatever, right? How does this affect my tuition? Because sometimes it does. And that's the other thing people don't talk about. So you need to know all that stuff. And then when you contact whatever school you're going to, you can try to find out from financial aid or Bursar or whatever, like how those scholarships and grants will affect your tuition at school. Like, you need to know all of that stuff, and you need to be very clear, cut and dry. You don't need no surprises when you're trying to get your degree. Manage your time so that you can go to class, study, and become acclimated to your new way of life, because it's very stressful. Very stressful. Like, it wasn't stressful for me because I stayed in my state, but I know when I had to get on planes with my children before we literally, like, moved them down there and everything, it was a lot. Having to, like, fly down there with them, fly some back, because, like, with my older daughter, she was a year ahead of my son that went there, so she'd be back. She was, you know, on her way back, and then he would be going because he had to go for registration, orientation, da-da-da. It was a lot. And then you always have to factor the money and the time frame, because when these kids are away or you are away and you got to come home, because you can't stay at that school all year round. They're not having it. You have to get out. So you got to have your plane fare, your train fare, your bus fare, your car fare, whatever it is. You got to have all that shit mapped out. So when you get this money, don't be a goddamn fool. Take the time to try to plan out the process. Plan out what you got to do so that you have enough to eat, enough to travel with. If you have a job while you're in college, make sure you got enough money to go back and forth. Save for emergencies. And also look into the medical coverage at every university, college, or whatever type of school you're going to. Because I know when my kids were down in Miami, I had to have insurance for them, the regular insurance for the state they lived in, plus I had to have additional insurance for the state that they were going to school and living in as well until I got there. So that's very important, okay? That's another thing that people don't usually go into. And you could just, you could get all of that information from the school, how that works, because a lot of them have plans for the kids, it's not kids, for the students exactly there. You can pay for it monthly, yearly, whatever, but it's always good for them to be able to go to the local hospitals and whatever else it is outside of whatever the college or university provides, because you never know, it might be something they can't handle. So that's always you know, something that needs to be done, because like I learned that lesson because when my daughter was there, she has this thing called, well, I won't get into what she has, but she had an issue with her knee, and then she had to have knee surgery. So I had to make sure that she was prepped and ready medically to get on the plane to come back home, right? Because, you know, that's a whole different, oh my God, that's a whole thing too, guys. If you're sick or you need surgery and you got to travel on a plane to go from one place to another, oh my God, that's another process. You must learn about how to navigate that and do it the right way. Sometimes if you got to find out, because with particular airlines, they won't even let you on the plane to get where you got to go. And sometimes you need clearances with the doc. Look into that. That was kind of hectic too. So look into all that. Look into the health care for both places. Make sure you're covered for everything, especially emergencies, because an interstate bill can blow your brains out. It's rough. The only thing that beats an interstate bill would be an international medical bill. Oh my God. Woo! So that's another thing too, even though this is a totally different topic. You see how I like to travel internationally? Always have your traveler's insurance for emergencies. Anywhere you go, pay the extra amount to have that little health insurance, emergency, driving, everything. Because you never know, you might be in Italy, have a bad car accident, and now you like, oh, I'm at the hospital. You got insurance? What? You want to prepare for all that, all right? And that's about it. But research everything. Research scholarships backwards and forwards. Research grants backwards and forwards. Research the taxes for both backwards and forwards. She spoke about college disbursement, research scholarship disbursement. Research that backwards and forwards. And then find the people who are professionally there to help you with that. And that'll do a lot of wonders for you too. If you like me, and you're not like her, and you want to go through all those applications by hand, one by one, you could also pay for services to do that for you as well. And they both work, just one is lazier than the other. All right, bye.